Greetings and salutations, everybody. We are back with more Feng Shui 2nd edition campaign set in Imperial China. Hooray!
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 Totally normal Imperial China, like actual historical Imperial China. Because, you know, demons and things like that were totally real.
Did my actor get fired after last session and replaced again?
No.
Oh, okay, good.
You're still here, so... no,
to be fair, the actor's hired on a per-day basis, so that's the main reason why I'm asking. Like, they're not...
Yes, here's your per diem.
Mm-hmm.
And we've made some changes to your lines in the script.
God, okay, I could not have my character played by Clint Howard. That would actually be an upgrade, okay? You know?
And I'm afraid your stuntman called in 6. You're going to have to do your own stunts.
Well, do I get my stunt do we get my stunt person's pay?
No.
No, of course not. What are you, ridiculous? That's ridiculous.
Can he get his lunch at least?
No.
We can probably spare you his coffee and his chips.
What? Oh, are they sun
Someone
chips?
immediately walks in and starts whispering in Peter's ear. I'm sorry. We could spare you half his coffee and 1 chip.
Wait, is it a sun chip?
It is an off-brand sun chip.
I was going to say
the chip that's been in the sun.
Dorito would be. Dorito is acceptable too. Okay, I'm fine with this. Here.
We also have a bag of Munchos if you'd like those.
Oh, don't tempt me with a good time here. Don't spoil me here.
And a $3 old Funyun.
And some stale pirates booty.
It's not 5. Okay, I'm sorry. You brought a Funyuns. I was just out and about, and I was walking along the ship aisle, and a bag of Funyuns, they were charging $5 for that. I'm like,
no.
What is this garbage here?
For Funyuns.
For Funyuns. The Munchos bag has like the $2 blazoned on it. And I'm pretty sure that price is no longer accurate in some stores.
Probably not.
But I'm just like, yeah. I'm like, for the amount of air in those things, $5 is a lot to pay for that.
You buy Funyuns when you want to have something that you don't have to share with anybody.
Yeah.
Wow. Or if you're gonna have or if you're gonna have like an aggressive hot take about Disney movies, insert Lindsay Ellis reference here.
Now, I will say Funyuns are not terrible, but they're not the first pick for anybody. Like, they're just not. Anywho, when we left off, you were at the Temple of the Iron Blade.
Right, because we had just saved all these monks who didn't actually need saving.
Well, yeah, you assisted them in fending off a bandit attack.
Did I?
You were at least the distraction.
You were there.
But no, I wasn't. I was actively ignored. Do you remember?
You were a distraction for one person.
You distracted that archer just long enough for the old master, the temple's master, to leap up and punch him in the head. Which I think was a gun.
Because he so needed that.
No, he didn't. I didn't say he needed it, but you did distract the archer.
Yeah, you were their point guard for one dunk, you know.
I'm sure Yelena could tell me exactly who I am.
At any rate.
Just so you know, in the future, if this happens again, let me know and I'll throw you at someone. Then you can still be useful.
I mean,
I also really want to throw people at other people.
I don't object to this.
Wow, that's high praise.
Anyways, so you have been informed that it's going to take them some time to find the scroll that you're looking for because they're not entirely sure what scroll it is. It's been a while since they left the old temple and since their forebears left the old temple and came here. Not even forebears. They're not like descendants of this monks. They're just people who've joined the monastery after it's been a long time.
I just like the idea of an exchange being like, okay, well, to narrow it down, okay, it's to let you know, it's a scroll that's made out of either paper or parchment, and it has writing on it. Okay, yep. And that should narrow down.
And it's probably in a scroll case.
Probably, but not guaranteed. It's either in a scroll case or it's not in one.
And it's probably very old. But
we can just get rid of. We just ignore all these guys on vellum then, and the ones on microfiche. Why are there things on microfiche in ancient China? Shut up.
I'm just laughing at the idea of an order of celibate monks having descendants.
They're not celibate necessarily.
Yeah, they're not Gregorian monks.
It's true.
They're Taoist monks. I mean, I don't believe Taoist monks. I'd have to look that up. I don't believe they're celibate. They're isolation. They're isolated.
Yeah, that's more the issue.
Yeah.
They tend.
And that's why it's like they're probably not actually
When
descendants.
do they date?
Right.
Like,
Yeah, that's the issue. I don't think there are rules about celibacy, but there are rules about isolation, I think.
Are you proposing like a dating sim visual novel idea here, Nick? Are you?
I mean, if one doesn't exist and there's a market that we could exploit, then yes.
Yeah, I could see this being an
I
Otome
do like
game.
exploiting markets.
I could definitely see this being an Otome
I do
game.
know that there is a nun visual novel. So
Of course there is.
Moving
I'm
on.
not sure if I played that
Celibacy
one or
in
not.
Taoism was predicated
think
on
I
the
did.
retention,
I'm not
inner
sure.
circulation, and refinement of Jing, or essence, and the avoidance of sexual intercourse was not to subdue the body, but on the contrary, to enhance its
Aha.
inner strength and cosmic
Thank you.
connection.
Oh gosh. Oh no. It's the Apostle Paul argument. I see.
Yes.
Yeah.
You see, I'm making myself more powerful by not doing this. Anyways.
So it's foundation on the principles of George Costanza.
But I have also heard of stories of like monks who kind of like dated each other, but just like non-sexually.
Yeah.
So-
So they might be.
Well,
They might actually be celibate. I'm not. I'm not that conversant on.
If they held hands, they have ancestors. That's all we need to know. So
But yes.
you see the chi mingled between the two.
But yeah, the big issue is that.
Most monks are reproduced via mitosis anyway.
Ah, there we go. At any rate, you have some time to do other stuff
believe you got
if you
rid of
want
the
to.
frickin' hand.
And there was a
Okay.
suggestion that maybe you guys want to go investigate the bandits to find out why the heck they keep attacking the temple, maybe, or something.
Yes. And I think
Or
that
maybe
was the one
deal with the
that
bandits so they stop attacking the temple.
I don't think that we decided in character what we were going to do.
Not in character,
on
no.
that, but it seemed like we were leaning in a particular way, so I guess we should.
This.
discuss that.
I remember that Yuri's motivation is is basically find the wizard, the court wizard.
Right. We have to kill
and-
him so he never speaks again.
Well, she wants information from him, and she's kind of putting
It'd be real
getting
hard to make that.
valuables on the side for the moment to achieve this. And so anything that's not in direct line of this will lead to that, she's not in for.
I think it was mostly Ulan and Zhao that were very like, oh, we need to go do this.
I mean, it involves violence, so I'm an easy sell.
Potentially violence, yes.
part of my head thought here is like, is Dao suddenly just like being in the same robes as the other monks in the temple for some reason, just impressing one of the higher up monks just enough, just like here's your honorary diploma, you know.
Your honorary diploma of being a monk.
That's right. I went to monk school. I didn't go to monk school for 4 years just to be called Mister. Okay.
You only went to monk school for 4 years.
I was on an accelerated degree program. You see, I transfer credits. I transfer credits from a prior life. Okay.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Doesn't that make you a Buddhist monk then?
Listen, I can be more than one thing.
I see.
Listen, samsara is about suffering, therefore it is definitely happening now.
Listen, I recognize mistakes I've made in the past. Okay.
Anyway, Olan thinks that we should check out these bandits because she thinks that she might have met the leader at one point. So,
and you're impressed. You did. If I remember correctly, you did say you were thinking something along the lines of, "Well, my dad made a weapon for her. She can't be a bad person."
yeah, she could be reasoned with.
Oh, right, she's got a sword. I could add that to my collection of
No,
she has a
excellent
guandao.
weapons I have stolen from other people I have killed.
She has a pole arm.
She has a guandao.
Oh, that works too. That's actually more, yeah.
That is actually more your speed.
Yeah. That's right. It's the
She's got a dragon.
glaive equivalent. I can't remember what it's
It's
called.
called the
Guandao.
guandao.
Wandao.
Yeah,
She's
the
got-
guandao.
So her symbol is a guandao that's being circled by a dragon, and Olan thinks that she knows the person who leads the bandits because we know that, and also that she has a tattoo of a dragon, the same dragon.
Yep.
That's right. Yes. So yeah, we'll kill her, take her guandao.
No, don't necessarily need to do either of those things.
Why not?
Because she might be a good person.
That doesn't change the fact that I am down a guandao.
We can get you my father could make you a guandao. He made that guandao.
I kind of don't want to kill your dad from the way you talk about him.
Why would you kill my dad if he's
got a
making you
guandao?
You don't need to do these things. You could instead just you could exchange something for something else that you want.
You can exchange
called
more
Why
than
would you do that when you
That's
can
wrong.
steal things?
That's
No,
called
it's
extortion, and that's wrong. I'm not doing it. Okay.
listen.
This
You
is why I
take
just take
from
things with
people.
This is why I just take things from people without them asking or them knowing. It's far simpler.
That's theft. That's also wrong.
I
It's better for you to kill the person so they don't miss what you've taken from them.
that. Dowell just remarked, it's it's not just with violence that one can exchange for goods and services. There could be maybe you could make them food in exchange.
Yes.
I was gonna.
he's right.
I was worried you're gonna say use currency, but that's usury and wrong.
What?
I've seen enough of your antics to know that the road to your wallet is through the cook pot.
It is, yes. Does seem wrong to exchange food for weapons, though. I'm not sure how it's wrong, but it seems wrong.
How did you get your weapons when you first started off?
I have hands.
You killed someone and took their weapons?
How else are you supposed to do it?
Oh
You
my-
guys are barbarians, okay? I'm just gonna put it out there.
Are you saying that the weapons you're carrying weren't made for you?
I don't believe we're from the northern parts of Europe, to be fair.
Sounds like
Technically
Europe.
speaking, you are barbarians because none of
Technically
you speak.
speaking, we're not Greek, therefore we are barbarians.
Yes. None of you speak Greek, so
Or Latin.
or Latin. Yes.
I still associate them with that region.
Oh, sure. No, that
specifically
is
for-
where most of them were from. But the term technically means that someone does not speak to our language.
Well, I wouldn't know what that means. I don't speak Greek or Latin. So that's
Exactly.
just-
It's a Greek term that the Romans stole because the Romans steal everything. Anywho,
I will have to learn more about this Rome.
One of these days.
Steal a
guys,
country?
I mean, they did that.
The heist of a century.
Well,
All right, fine. Note to self, Batu, you need an actual weapon that was made for you. Anyway, let's.
Are you
So
going to
we're
give
going
me?
to-
Are you going to get me a sword too?
If you want one.
Well, I always want one, but I can also just take what I want.
No, you're not listening.
Called theft. We've already been over this. It's wrong. You have to kill them in honorable combat and take it.
No, weapons are at their best when they're being wielded by the person that they were made for.
Clearly, it was made for me if the other guy couldn't wield it properly enough to stop me.
You might be right about that.
Zhao is just watching all of this and silently going to himself, China is in big trouble.
Technically, Lon's arguing with two foreigners, so maybe not.
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah, this is an international debate.
I'm going to do a check here real quick.
Absolutely.
Here. I'm just seeing how well do I do sweeping here.
okay, great,
Uh,
sure.
I rolled a 16.
You sweep
to-
good.
All right, there we go. So
You
that's
sweep
what
well.
Dalu's do. Yes.
I hesitate to call
Not,
this.
not even sweep good. You rolled high enough that you do it grammatically correctly.
Yes. I would call you the sweeper, but that has implications if you read enough Terry Pratchett.
Yeah, that has other implications.
Well, listen, this is Dalu's broom, which somehow found its way here.
Sure.
I don't know how, but it found its way here.
Well, yeah.
It's another piece of the fabled common laborer's toolkit.
The CLT.
Legendary. Yes.
All right.
Can I just say that, like, on a meta level, I do appreciate that we're basically having an in-character debate of the merits of going quiet versus going loud between the person who says, let's go quiet, and the person who says, let's go loud, i.e. myself and Eric, respectively.
At any rate, okay. Yes. If you guys want, let me feel free to have more in-character debate about whether you want to go to the bandits. Okay.
So, like, out of character, Yuri doesn't have a reason to do that. So she's kind of gonna need some convincing, since it's not related to her goal. It's a distraction to her.
I mean,
Okay.
I will say, sort of an out-of-character thing, I'm not sure hanging around here will necessarily let you find the wizard either.
Well,
Yeah,
the
we
reason
don't
that we
really
were here
have-
is we came here for the
Scroll.
scroll and, like,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Mhm.
And so...
That's possible,
you know,
sure.
Right. Well,
if it comes to it, she has no qualms with just breaking in and, finding it herself and then just going on her merry way.
Lon is going to point out to Yuri then, is like, if obviously the monks here are very formidable people, but maybe they're not used to defending against other people like yourself, so someone else could potentially break in and steal it before you're able to find it. So if we deal with the bandits, then the risk of that happening will go away. And then you could, if you need to, steal the scroll without worrying about someone stealing it first, or someone could just give it to us.
This feels like extra steps, but I seem to be alone on this. Fine.
This does sound like extra steps.
It's not extra steps. It makes perfect sense.
This is why I just take weapons.
Yeah, you just fight them, and when they lose, you take the weapon.
That. Yeah, but that's not how you should plan to do things.
So is this the next day, or is this still the same night?
It could be the same night, or this could be the next day. That's up to you guys.
Okay, so I'm going to assume it's the same night before we rested and we're about
Sure.
to leave. So it's still Shanyang, not Zhao.
Yep.
Shanyang just looks at Yuri. It's like, without knowing where the scroll is, it would take us the eternity to find the scroll, even if we were to try to take it surreptitiously. It's a much simpler task to simply gather their favor and have them do that work for us, and then have them give to us. It seems a very simple exchange.
They don't have any idea of what scroll we're looking for any better than we do.
Yes, but there's more of them. So they can look faster.
I hate that makes sense. Fine. I don't know. Maybe on a long shot, this wizard tried to make contact with other bandit factions or something. I don't know.
Stand to reason, a way to garner influence would be to have a network of hands that can do work across the region.
He didn't seem to be the networking type, seeing as how he just threw the one that he had under the bus.
That actually
Because we know what a bus is.
Yeah, me.
that actually gives more credence to there being a wider network. That means there's more disposable people to be around.
Zhao just kind of taps his mask like thoughtfully. He's like, it seems to me there's a wider conspiracy at work. We have a peasant rebellion starting out in the middle of nowhere, and an Imperial wizard in the same area. This could possibly suggest that there is some sort of Imperial involvement. This could be an action of the court.
I bet it involves the Hollow Earth and lizard people.
The what?
What?
Talking about
Oh,
conspiracies,
those.
right?
I like that Dow knows what it is.
He's been around. He's heard things. Let's see here. That's a 13 on Chinese philosophy.
I wouldn't say Hollow Earth or lizard people are a Chinese philosophy.
Fair enough.
Clearly, that's not hollow because down below the surface, they're all the various hells in the underworld.
Right, exactly. Yeah, well, it's hollow to make room for the hells. That's the
sure. And there are some demons that look kind of like lizards, so I guess they could be called lizard people.
But they're not the actual lizard people, though.
Those are demons, not lizard people, right? Obviously.
Yeah, those are demons, not lizard people. The lizard people live next to the hells in Lizardtopia.
But in any case, staying here is not going to advance any of our goals.
That is true.
But I do.
I've already agreed. I don't need any further persuasion, and I'll admit, after that last encounter, I feel judged with everyone looking my way. Not for things that, not for my way of life, but because I feel like I'm being seen as incompetent, and I don't like that.
Just on the silence of everybody not disagreeing about that.
No. I have a retort, but I just try to find the best way to say it. It's sort of the issue here. But it's more just like, well, you do in my case, you do enough odd jobs, and it's inevitable that there will be at least some who will come to incorrect conclusions. Besides, a single bad day of work is not an indictment on an entire lifetime of experiences.
Yuri looks at Daolu, opens her mouth as though she's going to disagree, closes it, and then just leaves to the rafters.
I'm not going to do the unhelpful thing, and but I'm just going to let me move on.
Yep. All right. It is morning of the next day, and if you would like to set out for where the bandits supposedly are, you may do so.
That seems to be the goal.
That seems to be the thing. We're gonna go hit some bandits with sticks.
In the morning, Yuri is not to be found, but the group will run into her outside the walls of the compound in the general direction.
To be clear, the unhelpful thing would have been to give Yuri supplies to do dusting off in the rafters. That would have been the unhelpful thing.
Yeah, I think during the the night, Shanyang. Oh, it's not.
Yeah. Nick noted it. BR. One moment.
Yeah.
Not necessarily BRB, but one moment.
His mic is not being picked up by Discord at the moment for some reason.
I do think in the middle of the night, like Zhao, leaves his bed. He goes outside and switches back into Zhao, and he's outside waiting because he hasn't been invited in by the monks in that persona.
I would just assume that Daolu is outside sweeping when you do this, and you just do that in front of Daolu as if
Didn't you?
Am I coming
Didn't
through
you?
now?
Yep, we can hear you.
Hi.
Okay, I just need to unplug and plug it back in.
Hooray!
Didn't you introduce yourself as your official capacity after the fight?
Nope.
But he did not.
He said he was going to. Before we leave the temple, I do have one thing that I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
Which is Lon was going to meet with the.
Oh yes, that's right.
Sword instructor.
Yes, you get to you have a chance to speak with them in the morning. Absolutely.
All right. Okay. Yeah. We'll go to meet with them.
All right. All right. You are introduced to. Hang on. Sure. I was just coming up with the name for him. Hang on.
Mm-hmm. It's good.
All right, you're introduced to Master Bai Lan.
See the guy on the roof?
No, he's not. He's out. This is all outside.
Oh, okay.
I don't have a token for him at the moment. He is currently, when you come out, he is currently sort of watching two of the monks drilling with swords. I think their Jian is the term for them, if I remember correctly.
Okay. Yeah, if he is
Jian, so that's what it is.
If he is observing them, then Lon's going to make a point to not interrupt or break his concentration.
But yeah, he is a somewhat. He's a bit short, wiry, very neatly kept gray mustache and beard.
Holy crap, he's the opposite of me.
But he's sitting there sort of watching them very intently as they exchange. And when they go for a big flurry, and right at the end of the flurry, he says, "Stop!" Walks forward with his, and basically starts tapping them on various limbs and such with his stick, and sort of like, "Nope, your position is slightly off here, etc." Resume. As they do, and he sort of looks as he turns back, as he starts moving back. He notices you, Olan. He says, "Ah, you are the one that the master said wishes to speak with me."
Yes, Master Bailan. And she is going to be very, very, more respectful that she's been to anyone on this entire journey thus far, which is saying something.
Yeah.
And she says, "I would request of your knowledge."
He cocks his head very slightly. What would you like to know, young one?
I set off from my home recently in search of a person that contracted my father for a sword that he made. I do not know who the person is that the sword was made for, however. I was hoping that perhaps you might have encountered someone who, and she's going to take the sword off of her back, who would be suited for a sword like this.
Interesting. So your father did not tell you for whom the sword was made?
It did not come up, no. He was away when I set off.
He arches an eyebrow. May I see the blade?
She unsheathes it.
He examines it.
It's this very straight sword, and it's got very faintly, there are these designs of crawling vines etched into the surface of the blade.
It looks very well made. Crawling, interesting motif. May I hold it for a second? I will return momentarily.
She lets him take it.
He grabs it, holds it, does a few steps back a little bit, does a few tests, sort of swings off to the side. The balance is excellent. Well, clearly, he says, returning it, it was intended for a great swordsman.
Yes.
And there are... It is not one I personally would commissioned, obviously. But it is a sort of blade I would dearly love to have myself, but it is clearly was not commissioned for me. If I were to, for low, I do not commission it, and I also favor slightly. I personally favor slightly different style of sword myself. But yes, he sort of strokes his beard a little bit, lost in thought. It is odd that your father did not deign to tell you for whom you were to deliver to. That makes the delivery more challenging.
Yes.
Perhaps it is a test to see if you were able to discern discern for whom the sword was made. Were you apprenticed to your father, perhaps?
Well, in a manner of speaking, when my father does take on an apprentice, it will be my duty to marry the apprentice and run the forge together with him.
Ah. Interesting.
But perhaps you're right. This makes sense. My father has always thought it necessary to not only be an expert in the crafting of swords, but of course, in order to craft a sword perfect for the person that you are making it for, you must be able to assess their spirit and their character in order to determine what you must make for them. So, in a way, this is practicing both the opposite and the same skill. So, that makes sense.
I'm glad to have been of some assistance. I do know of a few sword masters in the area. They're not well. I know them. Would not say I am well acquainted with them outside of crossing blades with them on a few occasions. None of us have managed to get the better of the other, for we are all still alive. But there is the captain of the governor's guards is a very formidable swordsman. And he does favor that style of blade, so it is a possibility. And there's also a swordmaster who teaches the art of the blade in the mountains to the northeast from here. His name is Gong.
Gong in the mountains to the north, and the captain of the governor's guard. I shall keep this in mind in case I ever happen to cross paths with either of them. I thank you, Master Byland.
To make sure I get the name here. Yes, Captain Chun of the Governor's Guards is the one I'm thinking of.
This is going to be like the only notes that I'm taking.
Yeah.
What was the name of the master in the mountains?
Gong. Make sure to write those down so I don't forget them.
And I am writing them down. So okay. All right. Lon will bow deeply towards the master and say, "I thank you very much for your time and your
Indeed
and your knowledge.
May your journey be a fruitful one."
Thank you."
No, you're doing that. Your footwork. Watch your footwork. I must get back to my students.
Of course.
You see him walk up. He starts tapping at their feet as they're sparring. He's like, nope.
Before she leaves, she's going to say, "You might want to try and have a lighter practice sword." And then she's just going to turn and walk away.
Get a heavier sword. That will show him.
Ah, yes, the weighted training sword.
I mean, people do stuff like that.
Some people do.
Yeah, that is a thing
sure.
that is done.
Yes.
But at any rate, is there anything else people need to do before you set off?
It's fundamentally just a stupid idea, because a lot of using the blade is getting used to the weight and how it sits in your hand, and if you're using a heavier one, you're just going to fuck everything up because it's not going to be where you expect it to be.
See, you do that in your I think the theory is you use it in your initial training to build up strength, and then you train exclusively with the sword you're planning on using.
I see. Okay, that does make more sense.
There's going to be causes for you to want to have something lighter than the sword you're using and something heavier than the sword that you're using.
This is relevant. This is relevant when the monks need to go up against the bandits in the World Series. You need to use the weighted bats to make sure they're ready when you get their lighter swords to hit the grand slams.
There you go.
Know.
Or pack different swords together in order to make the surface of the bat bigger.
Mm-hmm.
So you just weld all the swords together to one giant sword?
Oh my god.
Anyways.
All right.
Sorry, is there anything else? Sorry, before I forget. All right, so otherwise, you head out off to find the bandits who are off to the, I believe I said the west, in the hills. And it's a very foresty terrain.
Nice.
So you're off into the woods. All right. Honestly, most of your you don't know exactly where they are. What you're aware of is that there's the bandit lead, the woman who's leading the bandits. She's got that sigil. Did I actually give you what her nickname was? I forget what people refer to her as.
If you did, it's been long enough. I have forgotten.
Okay.
Same.
I'm trying to think if the. Okay. So I will say, so if I didn't, we're retconning it so that I did mention this because this is something you should know. I probably should have told you if I didn't. The Master Kung Wei should have mentioned if he did not, that while he does not know the name of the woman leading this group of bandits, she is referred to as the Silver Dragon.
Silver Dragon.
Yes. Anybody who has, I will say, I would also like from everybody who has a skill that is related to folklore, in any way, you should make a roll for that.
Okay.
But you know, I have information folk, so
Yep, that's where.
Oh.
So
I have information on Mongolia. It could be Mongolian folklore.
if you want to make a roll for that, you may try, Eric.
Oof.
So I guess can I just throw like the Chinese philosophy roll at this here?
Sure,
Is it
absolutely,
okay?
that's good enough.
All right.
It's not quite as
Uh,
bad. All right.
Could I make an argument for arts and antiques, given that they would depict things? have history to
Maybe, sure.
Well, I got a 16.
Yeah, that's a good roll.
Okay, I fail.
Oh dear. The only thing that I've got is this, so I will roll martial culture.
That's not entirely out of the realm. Oh, never mind.
Nope, don't got nothing on it.
Now, technically speaking, Ash, you did open in downwards. I didn't call for an open roll, but that.
The to be clear, the
I know.
roller in roll 20.
Oh, that's right. The roll in roll
so
20 is always open. That might actually be the way it is
Yeah.
in second ed. I don't know.
It might be. That's what I was thinking
that's
about.
a
Like,
thing that's come up a couple times. Evidently, everything is that. By
I think it might be
default,
that by
unless
default in
specified
second ed. I
otherwise.
forget actually.
it might be. Yeah, it might be just the case that everything's open for the sake of just let's make numbers explode more and not have to worry about distinguishing between.
That
open and
honestly,
closed.
that might be
Yeah.
the case. I'll look at the rules later. I'm not going to worry about it for now.
Yeah.
But even with that, even if it was a closed roll, that roll would not have been good enough. So, however, Daolu definitely. Okay, Batu.
Yeah.
Actually, okay. I'm gonna get back. I will get back to you. Actually.
Oh, that's a kind of Mongolian death worm. Yeah, I've heard of those.
No, not exactly.
Mongolian death worm.
All right. So, okay, interestingly, both, and this is not true in actual history, in actual like stuff we're talking about. This is tied to Feng Shui stuff. So,
Right.
this is setting stuff. This is not actual like historical stuff. Both of you, in both in Mongol, there are differences between these myths, but there is
Right.
definitely there's some commonalities. These you are aware of. So for Daolu, you're aware of the story of a hero called the Silver Dragon who rallied people to their cause to fight against a very powerful demon, and were able to drive it off and send it back to the underworld at the cost of their own life. Big folklore. They were a hero of the people, did all sorts of stuff, and they died fighting off a powerful evil demon, but they cost them their life. And there's stories that they're like they learned their skills from a dragon or something like that, etc. Baolu, so not Baolu, Batu.
Yes.
You're more acquainted with. It's not an individual hero, but it was a group called the Silver Dragons. A group of sort of great warriors and sort of doing heroic, daring do stuff. Who fought against? They were people that they weren't Mongolian themselves. They were their mythology that your people came across while they were traveling, doing their Mongolian nomad stuff.
At least one of them is a cybernetically enhanced gorilla. Gotcha.
No, but
If by cybernetically enhanced you mean magic, and gorilla you mean non-Mongolian. Okay.
but they fought against they were a group who fought against a corrupt government in their homelands and were able to cast it down, but and again it was a Pyrrhic victory for the heroes themselves, but they did save the country for the people.
I would like to think that while thinking about this, Daolu is either perched or seated upon Batu's shoulder to compare notes, and it's not inhibiting Batu at all this whole while.
But yeah, that is what you are not sure why they were called the Silver Dragons off the top of your head.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But you're like, oh, Silver Dragon, I know the Silver Dragons. Huh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
They were a group of very powerful, very skilled, powerful martial artists who banded together to fight off to overthrow a corrupt leader of a nation who was oppressing his people.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, fairy tales.
Basically, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How charming.
Yes.
Well, yeah, it helps teach children the lesson that violence is the right of the oppressed. So, yeah.
Call that the mandate of the heavens here. If the emperor has lost the mandate of the heavens, then that is when it is the will of the people of China to correct that.
How do you know if he has it or lost it? Is it like a piece of paper?
Generally speaking, if the peasants are at the gates with torches and pitchforks, you no longer have the mandate of heaven.
So how is it the mandate of heaven then, and not simply the will of the people in the first place?
It's called displacing responsibility for one's choices.
Clearly, if the heavens are still supporting the emperor, then the people wouldn't revolt. Obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And if the people are put down by the government, then clearly the heavens to support them either.
Yes.
It's amazing. It's amazing how much your choices can just seem morally correct as long as you just frame it the correct way. Much like a picture hanging on the wall, improperly framed, you don't see what is meant to be shown. And then if you frame it correctly, you can hide details or falsehoods that you don't want others to see.
Correct. It's simply a matter of perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like a lot of bullshit.
I mean, that's also
I'm not a barbarian like you guys.
No, that is true. That is also true. As someone who has shoveled a lot of bullshit.
Okay. I'm over here just like, I have a joke in mind, but I don't know how to frame it. But I keep coming back to the idea of Yuri is an art major because of my art information score.
Well, they say, good artists take inspiration, great artists steal, so that does track.
Ah, clearly I'm the greatest artist.
I mean, that's just a freebie for you. You can just take that and just run with it, I mean, just like
I'm
the
good
paintings.
at that too.
Yeah, exactly. Just like that painting over there. You can just take it and run with it.
Woo!
But like, yes, the lack of seriousness that Daolu takes the whole right of heaven thing comes from his very commoner perspective.
Oh, fair. At any rate, you are off into the hills. And let's just say you tried to find a way there. You're not sure you're not sure entirely where the Silver Dragon's camp would be.
Mm-hmm.
You just know it's off to the west somewhere, apparently. However,
let's all look like something that people would want to raid.
I mean, that's That's one possible. That is one possibility.
Oh boy, all this gold is so hard to carry. You know, if only I had extra hands to take it off of my own.
Zhao just looks down at his fine silks, being an Imperial.
Yeah, no, I was getting.
Inspector.
Yep, that's fair. That's fair. So yeah,
Yuri does know about smuggling routes, so she could probably at least get us a lead.
sure. I mean, the big thing is that you're sort of in the area where most smuggling routes lead to like where bandits hang out.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, you very well could. Yeah. Sure. I would like everyone to give me a notice roll.
Notice.
Yep.
I get to use detective for these.
Notice? We have no notice.
The only thing I know.
I want to roll my info skill, not the thing I'm bad at.
Well, the notice checks normally have a lower ceiling, anyways,
They
in
do.
terms of the yeah.
All right.
The only thing I noticed is how surprisingly comfortable Batu's shoulder is just to say seated upon.
I
so
can show you an exercise to get your trads to sit chest right, so that like you can carry a woman on each one, and it'll be very comfortable for them.
Oh, I've had to carry livestock over both my shoulders at times. I'm fully aware of how.
But is it comfortable?
Actually, with the right stance, surprisingly so.
All right, get down. I'll ride on your shoulder. We'll find out.
As you're doing this, Zhao and Batu, you both notice that there are people skulking about in the trees, armed with bows, because you happen to glance, like catch the glint of like sunlight off their arrows and their bows, trying to surround you.
That I'm not opposed to Batu being on my shoulders. That would make him an improvised weapon. So, which I believe would count as at least as a 10 damage weapon.
I would definitely give you at least
such.
10 damage if you were to use Batu as a weapon. Yes.
Got it. All right. Dao does not turn down the suggestion to attempt to use Batu in that capacity.
All right. So what do you guys want to do here?
Yeah. So as we're attempting this isn't going to work. Also, you guys need at least 3 people over on that side if you want to try to surround us. You're completely off balance here. Come on. What kind of an ambush is this?
Batu says this as Zhao is turning towards him to like I have a plan. Like he just gets out, I have it, and then Batu just does all this.
Yeah.
I have a plan. Oh, well,
I was going to suggest Batu get on Dao's shoulder and Dao using that to help leverage him to jump up and grab somebody from a tree.
If you guys want to do that, go give me a roll.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to do that? Do you want to try that?
Yeah,
Okay.
You guys have detected the ambush. You guys can do whatever the hell you want we're not rolling initiative or anything like that right here.
All right. Well, Batu, how do we do this roll here to allow me to help you launch up into the trees to be a weapon here?
I mean, you don't have to do much. Someone give me a martial arts roll, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. All right. This is a 16 because he's. Let's see
Sure.
here. And sure, we'll throw a fortune on it because that's a 19.
All right, Batu, you have been flung into the trees. You slam into one of the archers up in the tree, knocking him off the branch and fall to the floor out of the fight. There are other archers, other people in the tree that you can attack yourself if you'd like, and you get a free fortune die on this.
You're welcome.
I'm basically just. There are other archers there.
Sure.
Throw one archer into another archer.
Absolutely.
I love this. Can I get a free fortune?
You get a free fortune for it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I mean, I got +2, but you know.
Yeah. Well. All right. So you shoulder check the guy. You shoulder check the guy you're thrown into. He gets knocked off. You reach for the other archer. But he basically has this look of, oh God, scrambles out of the way. So while you do fail to grab and throw him, he does actually lose his footing and fall out of the tree.
As that one is falling out of the tree, Yuri is just going to pin cushion him with knives.
Okay, give me a roll if you'd like. He's out of the fight.
Woo.
So Dalu and Olan may do something also.
Lon is going to just start whirling her sword about, and I'm going to go full defense.
Okay.
So
And
You
yes,
mean Zhao.
yeah, Zhao.
I meant Zhao, that's right.
I think what's going to happen is after Ulan does their thing, Zhao is going to like reach into his belt and like throw down a smoke bomb or something, and we'll call that like defense.
Sure, you
Like a
can
dodge
defend.
or
You
something.
basically you can go just be defensive and throw a smoke bomb down if you'd like. Sure.
Yeah.
Poof! Big smoke bomb.
This is also the worst ambush I've ever seen. Come on, guys.
By the way, the tree branch you're on is bending and creaking a little alarmingly, Eric.
I was going to say that should have been the Bodger's on it. Just broke off.
Just letting you know. All right. Bandits. We're not doing a structured combat here. So for what I'd call, it's a not that large group of bandits against a group of PCs. Like,
There are no named characters.
no, there are no named characters here. None whatsoever. This is not an actual combat. Real fight.
These are actually portrayed by several of the actors that we already beat up in the last combat scene.
Pretty much. I mean, yeah. I mean, this is a ambush that you guys get to beat up and look cool doing stuff in it. So yeah. Sure. The remaining bandits attempt to attack you guys and fail miserably because again, it's unnamed a bunch of mooks against you guys. Like, this is not supposed to be an actual threat.
Right. I throw martial arts to take out one that tries to attack me and get in that case then.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, yeah, all right. This will not fortune this one here.
Basically,
I'm going to regret this
tell me how
choice.
you guys want to react to a bandit attacking you.
Okay, so I'm going to react to the bandit attacking me by rolling a 21 on my martial arts.
What would you like to do to him?
Basically, just do like a slide step back and then sort of a lunge forward with just a straight kick to knock him back, probably into one of the other bandits and
Sure.
into a tree.
Sure.
You know, just
so
something like
you
that.
knock him into another bandit. Who's trying to attack you also, and they fall back into a tree and slump to the ground.
Yes.
I'm going to. You said my branch is starting to bend.
Yep.
I'm going to move to the trunk, grab my branch, snap it off, and throw it at the other archer in the tree.
Go for it.
Hooray!
All right. The branch goes scything through the air, clocks the archer in the head. He falls to the ground, and the guy who fell in the tree before that fell in the tree when dodging you, he falls on top of that guy and takes the both of them out.
Excellent.
That guy was pincushioned.
Oh, you're
No,
right. He was pincushioned. No, you're correct. He was pincushioned. So he just falls on top of the pincushion guy, then just thud. I forgot about that. I do apologize.
Excuse me.
Olan, a bandit comes leaping at you with a sword. Ah!
You were supposed to shoot me so I could deflect the arrow.
Oh, you're correct. I apologize. He shoots you with some arrows.
Shoots you with a sword.
He shoots arrows at you. That is. I forgot that you had this thing.
It's the Punisher bandit.
Yeah, so I deflect one of the arrows to take out one of the other guys in the trees.
Okay.
And then I will make a martial arts check to cut through the guy's bow and hold my sword to his neck.
Okay, go for it.
There it is.
Plenty good enough. You are successful. You hack through his bow, and he's standing there looking like hi.
Hello. Do you work with the Silver Dragon?
What? While you're asking that, one of the bandits comes charging in to attack where the attack Zhao in the area where he threw a smoke bomb down. Zhao is no longer in that area.
Yeah,
He's very
he's no
confused. He's
longer
like,
there.
aha! I know you're hiding there. Whiff. There's nobody in there. What?
You just see in the background Zhao is very calmly walking up the tree.
Yep.
He just drops down on the guy whenever he attacks it. Let's call that
Yep.
martial arts.
Yep. That's definitely a martial arts attack. Plenty good enough. You
Just
drop down
knocks
on
him
him and
out.
take him out. The bandit ambush has been thwarted. And you have a conscious and very afraid prisoner because a sword being held to his throat. The silver. No, we don't work for the Silver Dragon.
Oh.
I
Do you know where to find them?
Well, from what I understand, we were supposed to avoid We were supposed to avoid going anywhere near the mountain off to the northeast there, because the Silver Dragon doesn't particularly like our boss, and she kind of told apparently her from what the boss said, if we went there, we'd probably get got.
Oh, okay. Who is your boss? Tell me, please.
Zhao just kind of walks up behind her, looks him very like intimidatingly in the eye. It's like, she's asked you a very direct question.
His name is Longzhu. He's the Fist of the Mountains.
Fist of Mountains. Okay.
It's the North Mountain, huh?
No, just the mountains.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you a choice right now.
Okay.
One is that you can just let us tie you to that tree over there until one of your friends who survived wakes up and lets you go, or I can just knock you out.
I did. Well, one of my friends.
I'm going to do both if you don't make your mind up.
Oh, you you can just tie me up. That'd be fine.
Okay.
Mm.
Thank you for your help.
I was waiting for you to be like, I knock him out anyway.
No. Many would do that. In fact, one of you guys might do it before I can tie him up. But
Olan is genuinely the kindest person in this party. So I believe Olan when Olan declares that they're going to do something that is, not violent.
Why would you say you're going to do something and then not do it? I mean, come on, guys.
I mean, I've had enough bosses who have done that in the past, so you know.
I'm a thief.
Yeah. So
and
anyway.
and out of character, a failed spy. So
like I grabbed like the belt off of one of the guys who was looking very dead, and I used that to tie him up.
Yeah, the pincushion guy's probably not alive. So
Yeah, exactly.
You see, that's an example of Olan's method versus my method.
All right. So yeah, you've got them tied up, and you've got some more information about where the Silver Dragon could be. Hooray! So you head off to the northeast towards the nearest thing that's actually vaguely, it probably actually is a mountain. It's a very small mountain, but it's probably a mountain. And I guess it'll probably take you most of the rest of the daylight hours to hike up to the top.
Dun,
Dun, dun, dun, dun, dun, dun, dun, yeah.
It's a silly place.
Yes, it is. Well, not everywhere, but All right. You are approaching through the woods. And you are now near the top, and you can sort of see it's not high enough a mountain to to not be trees at the top, for foliage to basically be gone at the top, but it's much, much thinner. Well, it's not, you're not quite at the full top, but the trees are thinning out. But it is getting dark. It's beginning to get dark, and you are near the camp. You're near where you suspect the camp is, I should say. This is when I would like everyone to give me another notice check.
Another notice.
Yes.
All right.
That would be an 8, a positive result.
10.
Oh, good. I mega failed.
Oh dear.
Yeah,
Dear.
that's a boxcar's failure. You are correct.
I'm rolling a lot of these.
I rolled a 7.
You rolled very average.
Yuri went
rolled
to
2
climb a
ones.
tree to scout, and she fell out of it.
Oh, she found something. It was just she found like commemorative like Ghostbusters drink boxes instead
I
of
thought you were
like,
going to say she found the concept of gravity would be.
Oof. No.
No,
Yuri,
I found the concept of regret.
what Yuri, you actually just you are 100% you are certain that there is somebody hiding behind that rock over there. But when you go over and investigate, there's just nobody there. What happens at this moment is two things. Zhao, you suddenly get the feeling that you guys are surrounded. You don't actually see anything yet. Yuri, as you're sort of investigating behind the rock, you suddenly feel someone's a hand on your shoulder and a blade sort of right at your throat. Hold very still.
I'm a worse ninja than Ryu Hayabusa.
Hey, Ryu Hayabusa is a great ninja.
No, he isn't! He
He's the
constantly gets
super
ambushed
ninja.
and gets dropped through trap doors. He's the worst ninja, except for me.
He's the super ninja, so he's obviously the best.
No,
I don't know who you're talking about. I'm just gonna assume you're talking about Naruto.
Ryu
he's the main
Hayabusa
character
is
of
the
Ryu
protagonist in
Gaiden.
Ninja Gaiden. Yeah.
Ninja Gaiden, yeah.
Ah, okay.
He
Who does
constantly
very
gets
un-ninja
gets
things.
caught out,
Yes, he does.
ambushed, dropped through trap doors. He's the worst ninja.
So stepping out into the middle of the path is a tall man with broad shoulders, wearing sort of a fairly standard, sort of fairly typical gear that you'd see most peasants wearing. He's got an axe sort of slung over one shoulder. He's wearing an eye patch and he's got a sort of scraggly beard. But he also has a look of actual like significant competence. And also, you do also notice that he's got an armband around one of his arms. And sort of behind him is a group of bandits with armbands sort of come filing out. And there are a couple other people like up in the trees that look like they're actually competent in addition to the just sort of generic bandits.
Hey, you know what? This is how you do an ambush. We should go back to those other guys and tell them this is how you do an ambush.
Indeed. What brings you to our territory, travelers? You do not look like bandits. Well, most of you don't look like bandits. He says, sort of having a look, looking confusedly at Batu, trying to decide, do Mongolian raiders count as bandits?
Are they your enemy at the time?
Well,
Maybe.
no, they're not bandits.
point.
They're just they're simply raiders.
Well, some of you don't look like bandits. I sort of lean over to Zhao. It's like, I think he's talking about you.
Zhao's just like considering what we've heard about the peasant uprising, that might possibly be true. At this point, Zhao very, appropriately walks forward and delivers, the proper Imperial etiquettes. Like, I'm an Imperial inspector of this region. I've been sent here to uncover corruption charges.
Ha!
And I heard about your. Yes, I know. He's not. Even he's like, yeah, I know. And I heard about a certain group uprising here. I wish to hear your grievances and your aims. And let's call that like an actual like Imperial etiquette.
Sure, absolutely. Give me a roll.
I'm gonna use a fortune on this too.
Absolutely, go right ahead.
I am.
I'm glad I
absolutely
used
curious to
fortune
see
on it.
how quickly it gets you killed.
He is showing like proper like respect in this situation. Yes.
Huh. You might actually believe what you say. Not sure you're right.
Holy shit,
Not
he
sure.
pulled it off.
Not sure the people who actually said you believe that, but so an Imperial inspector. Huh.
He is like Zhao is still in his deep bound. It's like, indeed, I believe I've shown you the respect you deserve. The situation. Could you perhaps at least introduce yourself?
Do you want to talk? You want to hear our grievances?
I want to hear what this is all about. And to see if the
Fascinating.
mandate of heaven has been preserved.
Uh-huh. All right. Well,
Am I still like being
you're
held in the
you're
dark or
basically being
whatever?
slowly you're being like, it says, if you just walk out into the clearing with me, I promise no harm will come to you unless you take offensive action.
A lot of people call me offensive by nature.
Look, it'd be easier. It'd be easier on both of us. You just go out, please.
I'm not saying that she's resisting. I'm saying
Oh,
she's
fair enough.
being
So he sort of like
rude
escorts you.
while
He sort of
doing it.
escorts you out. Boss, we got one that was sneaking around out in the out sneaking around out here.
My shame knows no end these days.
All
How
right.
does his axe look?
How does axe looks?
Yeah.
Practical and used, but well cared for.
Oh, okay. It's not special.
No, it is impressively utilitarian looking. It looks like
Oh,
it's
well.
well made, or at least well mended. In fact, honestly, this is probably his father's axe in that, he's replaced the handle 5 times and the head twice,
Right,
It's still
right.
his
Yeah.
father's axe.
Exactly.
The axe of Theseus. Gotcha.
It's the axe. Yes, exactly. It's the axe of Theseus.
It's a dwarven axe.
Yeah. Right. Well,
So you guys are with the Silver Dragon then?
indeed. You were looking for the silver dragon, then I take it. It sounds
I
like.
mean, yeah.
Very well.
Didn't he like make that clear? We're here to inspect things for reasons, and I can't.
Batu.
What?
The silver dragon's a woman.
Yeah, I know that. Well, she's stealing the name from a group of heroes that went and did stuff. But yeah,
It's not stealing.
it is when you are borrowing the name of someone more famous than you, then you are definitely stealing. That is
What?
definitely theft. You
The
agree with
hero
that,
was-
right? I said to the
the-
guy,
the-
that would be a kind of theft, right?
hero
It's
wasn't
kind of stolen glory, right?
The hero wasn't called the Silver Dragon. There was the hero of the Silver Dragon.
No. The Silver Dragons was a group of heroes. They fought the government and like burned it down because the government was dumb.
Lana is kind of like sidestepping a little bit away from Batu.
Yeah, like the camera like focuses on Zhao's face as he's still like bent down at his bow, and it's just going to an inner monologue like going, "Shut up, shut up, shut up."
At this point, Umitomi is just going to be like, so I can just, if I may speak, yeah, talk to the one with the fancy robe. He's sincere.
The guy with the axe. All right. This is a chance to be at least entertaining. Sure. Come back to the camp. We'll sit down. We'll air our grievances. I'd appreciate it if you'd
Don't say disarm. It's not going to happen.
I was thinking. I'll admit I was thinking it, but also looking at you, I'm not sure I'm not sure taking weapons away will help.
I mean, it would make me very cross.
See, that's not helping though, is it?
No, not really.
All right then. I ask that you not draw your weapons unless you are actually provoked. We will try not to do so unless it's absolutely necessary.
Your hospitality is appreciated.
All right then. Let the he sort of looks at Yuri. Huh. Let the other foreigner go.
Thank you.
Yes, very well, ma'am. Follow me. And he walks. He turns around and walks off, and the rest of the bandits sort of come. A bunch of the other bandits from flowing out from the trees. Several remaining as lookouts. It looks like these guys seem to be competent.
Well,
Don't
this seems
mind
to be
me. I'm
going
just
well.
going to hide in my shame, and Yuri's just going to like go into the darkness and stay there until requested.
You are escorted into the camp, and I will boop. bring you over to the camp month. Bring you over to the camp picture. Camp scene. Dun dun dun. All right. So you come. There's actually a fairly well fortified camp. They've actually got like walls, as you can see, and like a gate, and like this place is like light years better than most other bandit camps you guys have ever seen. Like this is like the whoever's either picked this place or because this looks like somewhat new construction mostly. Like whoever planned this out actually has like a clue on how to build a defensible position.
As someone who is actually trained in espionage tactics, I imagine that Yuri would actually actively take note of this.
All right. So you were escorted into the camp.
Yep, this place would definitely suck to try to raid.
And there are a bunch of bandits who are all sort of milling about. There's a campfire going with food being, there are a couple of campfires going with game animals being roasted over them. You can smell food being cooked.
Oh, don't mind if I do.
You will be offered food in a bit.
Excellent.
They sort of gesture to an area for you all to sit down at if you'd like. The big guy who is the guy with the axe is probably this token over here. And enforcer up top here says, "All right, you want to hear our grievances? You're in luck. The boss is here. She'll probably be the best to talk to you all. In the meantime, have a seat. We'll bring you some food.
All right.
If we're gonna do this, we'll do this all proper and with hospitality and shit."
You're more sensible than most of the bandits we've been running into in recent history.
Yeah, well, when you work for the boss, you kind of tend to get that way.
Good boss.
Terrible at ambushes. Just really bad at it.
I'm not surprised, he says as he walks into the big tent at the back there.
Zhao is being very calm about this. He is noticing the situation, but he is trying to be, his imperial self here because that is what is probably going to get us through this.
But yeah, you're all presented with
honestly, the diplomatic route is pretty much the best method forward at this point.
There were a couple ways this could have gone, and you guys have chosen this one, and I'm okay with that. Yes, you were all presented with a bowl of rice and some probably some sort of whatever animals they were able to hunt up during the day, that's been roasted over fire, and some basic veggies and such. Again, not like not a particularly fancy meal, but honestly pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, bandit force. The guy with the axe comes back out of the tent, and let me go get the token. Walking out of the tent is a fairly young looking woman, with long black hair in a braid. She carries a guando sort of in one hand, sort of on her shoulder. She walks out because she's looking at the situation, wearing sort of red robe. Hang on, can I zoom in here? Oh, that's not zooming in. There we go. She walks forward. This is the Silver Dragon. Basically, all the bandits are sort of nod respect. Someone walks up to her. She sort of looks at you guys. Notices you have your weapons drawn. Nods. She sits down across from you all. Late puts the guandao down on the ground as she sits down. Drops down sort of on the ground, cross-legged. Bows slightly, and then some people bring some food up for her, and she thanks them. All right. Which one of you is the inspector?
That one's the inspector, and I'd like to say that you're pretty.
Thank you. All right.
That's probably like the one thing I'm going to get to say this whole dialogue.
Yeah, like I'm not going to have much to say in this case either. So.
All right. Well, we'll see about that actually.
We'll see about that. The way these dice can go real bad.
All right.
So, before we start, She gestures, and someone brings so one of the bandits who's over near sort of supplies comes walking up. He brings several cups and a bottle and 2 bottles. Sets the bottles down by sets actually the bottles down by the silver dragon and the cups. She leans forward, pours from the bottle into each of the glasses. Sets the bottle down. As a gesture of good faith, just to be sure about this, pick one of these 6 cups. She says to Zhao. Gesture point to one of them.
Are they empty cups?
They've all had something poured. They've all had a drink poured into them from the same bottle.
Mm-hmm.
This is where
she says gesture to one of the cups.
Yeah, Zhao takes like a moment, and he's doing the whole Princess Bride thing in his head, calculating if anything's but he's like, you know what, I just need to go for it. And he takes.
She says point at one.
Yeah, he points to the cup that is immediately to like let's say they were like in a like a hexagon.
Let's say the one on the left.
Yeah, the one that'd be immediately to her right.
All right, she reaches forward, picks it up, drinks from it, sets it down, pours more into it, and says, she gestures, and the bandit who brought the stuff brings each of you one of the other cups.
Okay. I was just say, like, I tried to make trying to get into a bet with a silver Sicilian. You know, you're bound to lose in that case. There,
nope.
The Sicilian dragon.
Nope.
The Sicilian dragon is.
This is a demonstration that if any of this is poison, she is taking the first drink.
I'm also going to point out, like, the other blunder brought up in that, a land war in Asia, so let's not have a fight here. Yeah, like, Zhao just immediately takes the cup that is offered, and he takes a drink.
Okay, good. She nods, takes another sip. She raises it and says, "Welcome to my camp. I am called the Silver Dragon." There's a tone to her that she says she's not entirely, this is not by her choice.
Right.
I go by the name Ting Ting.
Hi, Ting Ting.
Sips. Now, if you would all please introduce yourselves so I may know to whom I'm speaking.
Zhao, like, gestures to the others to go first.
I'm Bato.
She nods.
Love that.
Daolu is the name, and I want to gauge how good the drink is that we have in terms of the quality of it. So, tapping into prior work in making.
Sure.
I'm guessing it's a sort of wine, I guess.
This is basically, it's plum wine.
Plum wine. All right. Well, that's an 11, but
it's honestly pretty damn good. I will say, Zhao, if you would like to give me a detective roll.
Of course.
Because you're the one who might have a chance of noticing this. Yeah. You do actually get a glimpse of the bottle, and it has the Imperial seal in the bottle.
Ah.
Hmm.
Yeah, but Zhao, like, smiles as he drinks it. It's like, oh, this is the good stuff.
It's passable. I've made better. It's just sort of like the thing that would.
Yeah. It might have been liberated. Let's just put it that way.
Ling Yi.
And who would like to go next?
Yuri's going to identify herself as Ling Yi.
Ling Yi. All right. A pleasure, pleasure, Ling Yi. She shouldn't say it. She just sort of nods respectfully.
I am going to, before I say anything, I'm gonna kind of peer at her Guandao for a bit.
Oh yeah. You don't have to roll.
I recognize it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I will just try to say, "Is it? My name is Olan." And she's going to.
You actually see Ting Ting sort of starts bowing. She pauses, looks up, blinks a few times, looks forward at you, crosses her arms, looks forward at you. I think I know your father.
You do.
He made this, didn't he?
Yes.
Fascinating. So, anyways, I do apologize. We'll get back to it in a moment. And you, she says, gesturing to Zhao.
Zhao returns the cup to the table, and he performs his vows. Like, I respect to Zhao of His Highness's Imperial Court. Praise be his name.
Uh-huh. She looks least pleased to see you of anybody here.
I'm not surprised.
It's like, yeah, there's a Mongolian here. Yeah, whatever. So someone
I feel like the presence of Olan is like counterbalancing the displeasure of being before, a toady of the Imperial Court.
Mhm.
Honestly, Olan's presence actually has made her a lot less suspicious, honestly. All right. She looks over at you, Olan, and says, "Do you vouch for this man?"
For this man?
She said, gesturing at Zhao.
Well,
Yes.
I've been traveling in with him for some time. He seems to go missing occasionally whenever we get into certain scrapes, but he seems to be very good at his job, and he has been quite kind and professional with the different people that we have met.
Ting Ting blinks a couple of times. Huh. An honest inspector. Fascinating.
Yeah, weird, right?
Yeah. All right.
Why is that weird?
She looks at you, Olan. Let's just say that some members of the Imperial Court are not as devoted to their job as others are.
They're interested in the divine right of the heavens and all that.
As an example, the local governor, whom is a spineless toady. I shouldn't blame him entirely. He is not the real root of the problem. Well, he is, but the real problem is his brother. Well, I mean, the fact that he's a spineless toad is part of the problem.
The spy in Yuri is very interested in hearing all of these juicy details about who is who and what is what. Actually, regarding the local governor, what do I know about the local governor? I say, eyeing my espionage tactics.
Give me a roll.
Can I also roll with regional information?
Absolutely.
All right.
I think this would be Imperial etiquette.
Absolutely.
As well. Like, you would know the
That's
thing.
an 8.
This would be
Eight.
Info Mongolia if I've ever heard it.
All right. So you all sort of sit there thinking, and toady is probably a reasonably accurate term. Daolu, yeah, he's definitely corrupt from everything you've heard.
I mean, I worked for him once, so yeah, I probably know about that.
He taxes it higher than the standard rate, and the extra above what he's supposed to be collecting goes directly into his coffers.
That's why I got fired, because I wasn't collecting at his tax rate. I was adjusting for the correct tax rate. He found out, and I got fired.
You're actually probably lucky. He probably tried to have you executed for that, but
I mean, I'm friends with the executioners. That wasn't going to happen.
Used to be an axe sharpener.
Yes, exactly.
But yes, Governor Kong is a very utter sort of weasel he's an utter weasel of a man. Cowardly.
I worked my way. Sorry.
He's an utter coward. Well overfond of food and drink and all of the earthly pleasures.
I went up the standard work ladder of farmhand to axe sharpener to tax collector. Standard progression in the local government here.
But yes, he is. But the real force behind the throne, behind him, who sort of who directs what he does. Governor Kong, he embezzles money and he he's oppressive to people, but a large part of the reason he's able to get into the position he is, and he is largely the facing front of the actual power behind in this area, which is his older brother, who's his older brother.
Thinking about it, I've probably robbed this place once or twice.
Oh, you probably did, yeah. I want
I
everyone
hope
to give me.
accidentally.
Drive.
I'm trying to think what role to sort of do to give you guys sort of to remember something, because there's a chance you odds are you should remember this.
I would call that detective for me.
You absolutely get a detective role. So I'll say this: give me a role that you think would be to help you to remember a name of someone you have met somewhat recently.
Espionage.
Sure,
tactics. Alternatively, deceit.
Espionage. I mean, whichever you prefer of those two, they're both fine.
I'm gonna roll melodrama.
Confound it.
I rolled odd jobs and rolled a 20.
Honestly, that's fine.
Yeah,
got an 8.
that's perfectly in character.
Melodrama. Actually, Eric, is perfectly reasonable for this. All right. The last person you remember hearing with the surname with the family name Kong was Master Kong Wei.
Wait a second.
You're all like, wait, Governor Kong. She says yes, and his brother Kong. You know, Kong, as she's saying, you know, Master Kong Wei. You're all like, wait, what?
Remind me.
Master Kong Wei is the master of the Temple of the Iron Blade.
The guys who didn't need our help to fight off the bandits.
Yep.
Yeah, Zhao hears this. He's like, Governor Kong, the Willow, always bending in the face of the wind.
Yes.
But always knowing which way the wind blows.
Oh, absolutely.
I understand what the issue is here. He takes a seat and he picks up his little cup of peach plum wine.
Plum
Yeah,
wine.
yeah. Also reasonably appropriate, but no. Yeah, plum wine. He's like,
Wine's delicious.
I believe we have been sent here to deal with and he does the finger quotes even though they wouldn't be like correct in this period or region or
That's
anything.
Fine. It is appropriate anachronism for the style of game. Yes.
Yeah, it's like to deal with a problem for Master Kong Wei, but
have you recently made acquaintance with Master Kong Wei? I take it.
Yes.
Wait, were you the people who helped drive off my last group of men?
He doesn't deny. He's like, yes. It would seem that assumptions were made and they were inappropriate. For that, you have my forgiveness.
She waves a hand. She's like, it's understandable. You had no way of knowing. I understand, honestly.
You have my forgiveness. I'm sorry.
I forgive you for my mistakes here.
She knew what you meant.
No, see, there's the Imperial Court arrogance.
Yeah, like part of me just thought that seems like an appropriate thing for Zhao as almost like a Freudian slip type thing.
So yeah, I've been trying to as you may have surmised, there's several problems in the area that the people are definitely being well overtaxed to the point where they're having trouble keeping food on their plates sometimes. So we try to help distribute, move stuff around between the villages. Where someone's got shortage of one thing, we get help it move it over there. And we've been trying to undermine the governor's influence and try to screw things up to the point where he might get replaced. But then I found out who he's being backed by, and yeah. So my plans were to originally just to we'd descend on the monks, and if we were to remove the leader, it would be easier to deal with them, obviously. But while I don't think he is necessarily his personal kung fu is better than mine, there's something about that temple. The monks fight harder and are tougher than I think they really should be. Something's decidedly odd about there. Like, it goes beyond even proper usage of iron shirt technique, which I don't personally know, but I've seen it used. And while there's one of them, there's at least a couple of them there, including Kong Wei, who seem to know that technique. It seems to be much more effective than it should be. It is as if they're being protected by something that is an outside force. Like, the feng shui of that place is strong, but it shouldn't be that strong.
Zhao, the
no
wheels are
problem.
turning in his head using his knowledge of Taoism.
And I thought that it might have been a relic that they were holding of some sort that might be assisting. So one of my last
Oh,
acts
it's
where
a stupid scroll. Yeah, we're gonna
Yeah.
have to kill everyone in there.
I told you we should have just stayed there. It's become extra steps.
Zhao just like raises his cup and like waves an apology. She's like, "Yes, I'm sorry. I believe we have wasted our time here, but perhaps
well
not." He looks over at her name is Ting
Ting
Ting,
Ting,
correct?
yes.
Looks over at Ting Ting, and he's looking at her. He's appraising her. He's just like, it would seem that the mandate of heaven has indeed been lost.
At least in this area. I can't speak for the
Always in the
Emperor,
last
obviously.
place you look. Just
So was that Eric?
easy thing to look. It's always in the last place you look.
Fair. It's probably under the couch.
Well, that's where I should have looked for the scroll.
Under the couch. There's just a couch in the temple.
This is where Yuri's wealth just comes from. The pocket change from between the.
These guys
Their
don't
pockets
even
are
have
really
any
bad
cool
in
weapons
this
for me
town.
to take as trophies. Oh, I hate these guys.
3 coin purses between these two seats today.
But yes, she said I was fairly certain I'd found the artifact, but in question. But when I left there, it was a scroll in a ornate case with the I forgot the name of the turtle deity.
Genbu. It's Genbu.
Genbu, with Lord Genbu on the case. But when I got here, she gestures. She says, "One moment." She gets up, walks back to her, sort of jogs back to her tent, comes back, holding what looks like a scroll case. She says, "This is what I'd actually taken," and it's a scroll case with that instead of having Lord Genbu on it, has a celestial dragon wrapped around it in terms of the scroll work. I think there's something going on to disguise the artifact there also.
Arts and antiques.
Absolutely, give me a roll. 11. What are you trying to discern?
So I was getting a good look at like all of the stuff that was in like the Lost Temple.
Yep.
I'm going to call it for the time being.
Yep.
And I was seeing all kinds of iconography and patterns and other whatnot. Is this consistent with those as though it were like in the same set? And
No, this does not look like it.
was
It does not look like a scroll case from the previous temple.
Okay.
Also, she opens it. It was empty.
Right.
She has a look. She looks appropriately chagrined. It's like, yeah, I screwed up.
So out of character, I was hoping that it's like, ooh, I might be able to actually, do a switch, but that would be noticed.
Yes, but it sounds like we. Is there a particular? It sounds like you were looking for the scroll. Looking for a scroll or something.
There is a temple to the south where that order of monks originated before they migrated off to where they are now, or at least so the spirit of the temple claimed. And that spirit has information that I would particularly enjoy having. And it requested that we return the scroll to where it belongs.
Interesting.
As when Lord Genbu appears, his request must be answered.
Of course. Well, it sounds like we have. Sounds like we have something of similar goals, or at least our goals are in alignment, not necessarily the same. I mean, I want Master Kongwei deposed to make it possible to deal with his brother. And you need the scroll, which would assist in all of this. Perhaps an accord can be reached.
Zhao smiles and he He raises his glass to her. He's like, I believe we can. Here is what I propose. We shall all return to the temple to deal with Master Kong. With him out of the picture, I believe his brother will know which way the wind blows, as he always does, and capitulate to your demands. And I will, of course, give him my official declaration that he should do so as well.
Indeed.
In
If I
exchange,
may,
yes, he looks over at
if this scroll is truly the source of his power, then if I were to remove it, then deposing him would be far simpler.
Yes, if
That
we are
might
able
be.
to find and remove it quickly, that would make things much easier. I would agree.
Then I think the plan would be that we cause a distraction while you infiltrate and find the scroll.
If that's how you wish to play it.
And then he turns his gaze to Ting Ting. In exchange for this, you will disband your uprising, as the mandate of heaven will have been restored.
She arches an eyebrow at
Assuming-
that.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, I
just
kind of
like,
arch an eyebrow at that. also.
Yeah, Dao will also like nudge Zhao a bit with that proclamation there, just like.
he's like, this is not this. He's like, this is official. This is not telling you to stand down from your vigilance. You are doing the work of the heavens by notifying us of these things. But when the new governor is installed, you will give him a chance.
She leans back. Well, naturally, I'd give him a chance. Everyone deserves an opportunity to prove that they are not to show what their actual value is.
Then I think we're all on the same page of what needs to occur in this situation.
But yes, I would not recommend disbanding our group entirely.
I'm simply saying he's like looking around at the camp. He's like, maybe this would be a little bit too much after the situation's over. You are a standing army, and the Emperor, you know how he can be.
How many people are out here?
I wouldn't say it's an army. I wouldn't say it's an army.
Yeah,
Mhm.
not an army.
And a lot of them are sitting right now, actually. So it's not even a standing army for that matter.
Like, are we talking like a couple dozen or something?
It's a sizable group. Like it's it's not an army, but it is enough that it's enough to
Probably
make the
low
governor
hundreds.
nervous. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like he's
Yeah,
like
probably low hundreds.
yeah, he's making it very clear. Like, I'm trying to de-escalate the situation. You know what to do if things return to the way they are. But it is also.
I will
your
also say that
responsibility
the
to ensure-
governor is not the only issue in the area, but yes.
I'm sure, but he is obviously the
Oh
most
no, he is the
pressing
pressing
concern.
issue.
There's, yeah, even Zhao's like, look, there's corruption and then there's corruption.
Yeah. At any rate, I think we can. I think I can accommodate your official stance to at least some degree.
Zhao, at this, he puts his cup down and he stands and gives her a proper bow. It's like, then I suggest you get your men ready.
Oh, we
We're
will.
going to need them.
We will. But for tonight, we feast.
Huh?
Start playing that
All right.
that song from the prehistoric village in Chrono Trigger where they're all just partying.
Kinda. All right.
That's my favorite song from Chrono Trigger.
I'm doing my substitution as someone who's never played Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, fair.
So.
I'm so happy you did that.
I haven't played Chrono Trigger since the 90s, so
At any rate, all right. So food is had, drink is drunk, music is played, dances happen, etc. No one, there's not overindulgence of drink by at least not by Ting Ting and her people. That is up to if you wish to. That is your choice and your and such. But
Batu might actually
party
play better.
overindulgence is required.
I was kind of thinking that might be the case, but The big thing is that tomorrow there's big fight. So hangovers are a pain in the ass when you're doing this sort of thing.
While diplomacy was a success, we're still in what could be considered a dangerous area, so Yuri is not going to be involved in such things.
That's fair.
She's going to
And
keep
Daolu's
herself
not
as aware as she can.
Daolu also will not engage in festivities because he is not a festive sort. He's more likely to be working festivities than engaging in them.
Fair.
He sets up a little shack to sell stuff to people.
He will consult with Yuri about how to make takoyaki correctly in order to
Where are they getting the octopus?
I don't care.
never you mind
Yeah.
that.
Absolutely, this is the most adorable idea I've ever heard. Like,
I mean, it's hilarious. I like it. I'm just like, where's the octopus from?
It's not actually octopi. It's just like little hot dog ends with the little they curl up.
yeah.
So here's
but
Yuri's going to claim that's what it is because she has no idea because she doesn't do honest work.
But Daolu is interested in talking with Yuri about something. So
All right. So Yuri's stuck kind of like at the booth.
well, like no, not heavy at the booth. It's like like there will be things that are then Daolu will just go around back to make more. So like we're not like in line of sight of anyone we're talking about this because
Gotcha.
Daolu does not want to talk about this in front of a lot of others anyway.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. So we can do that conversation at any point now or otherwise. So,
Mm-hmm.
unless anyone else wants to do something that might be more pressing, rather.
I think I figured up spotlight for the moment. I think everybody else should have some time.
Sure.
Lon would like to have a conversation with Ting Ting.
Okay.
Of course.
Situation allows.
You want to hold that for later, then I can begin with this conversation.
Yeah,
I have
go for it.
a thought here. All right. So while trying to do like work during the party, Daolu is going to sort of not really confront Yuri, but sort of just approach her about something. First things first, I do want to at least issue an apology.
Oh.
Your instinct to stay at the temple was probably the best thing we could have done to get what we needed. But now we have an opportunity to take the effectively intel that we've collected and possibly leverage some extra hands from Ting Ting's troops here to execute what we need to do to get the scroll back.
There's merits to either way of having gone about this. On the one hand, we've spent time, and odds are they'll be suspicious of our return one way or another. If we
Mhm.
return first before the Silver Dragon's horde, then they will be suspicious. If we return after, well, then there's already going to be an engagement. Either way,
Mhm.
the element of surprise is no longer on our side. But on the other hand, as you say, we have pawns to move about.
Indeed. Also, it might be possible for us to return, but in such a way as to mislead them to be less suspicious. Unless they sent us out here just simply to be killed, then us being merely alive would be suspicious enough for them.
I imagine that their goal was simply to thin as many herds as possible.
Indeed. Not so much divide and conquer, since many misappropriate what that meaning even refers to, but yes. I guess the question is, during your time up in the rafters, did you notice any particular in routes that it might be possible for you to take advantage of when we return?
I case every place I enter.
I don't doubt that, given some of your past engagements that I've been able to be witness to.
That time as a tax collector was certainly interesting.
Indeed. But regardless
It was quite a
of,
shock for me to see you again after I'd seen you working in a garden.
well, I go where there is work to be done, and
Yes, you do.
you are much the same, though the idea of a job for you is more like a case rather, or a mark rather than an employer.
I suppose I have little to deny that with.
I suppose
Though I
my
don't
point.
tend to operate for the benefit of anyone but myself.
I wouldn't assume anything but that. I would assume that you would even balk at the idea of working underneath someone as like their arm reaching out into other areas.
Oh, I used to, once upon a time.
I
I don't
assume,
anymore because I am not desired by anyone.
I also suspect that you probably don't desire that sort of arrangement anymore either, for that matter.
There's merits to such a thing. I don't balk at the idea of that. But those of whom I knew in my youth have no interest in me for, we'll say, expectations not being made. And then over here, I'm merely an untrustworthy outlander.
Right.
So
And
who would deign to even see me as valuable?
well, you probably you know the value that could be gained from having no expectations made of you, of course.
Of course, I'm a VTuber.
What? I didn't catch that. So, I didn't catch the reply there. I was just
I said, of course, I'm a VTuber.
But my point is that we really should see how much of an advantage we can leverage when we make a return.
The best distraction that could be made would be one where they don't even realize that an intrusion has occurred in the first place. If an attack occurs, then they will stand at defense.
Mhm.
If I'm already inside, they won't think to check inside for quite some time. That would be a distraction of value.
Right.
But that
So
hinges on myself being within in the first place.
right. So the question then be, what is the best way for us to get you in there before there's a chance for them to suspect anything? Actually, before you answer, can you let me know if this tastes all right? And the officer's one of the I guess I'll do an odd job roll to determine how good is the food then.
Go for it.
That is a 15.
That's pretty good.
So you're doing like pseudo takoyaki over there?
Yes. It's takoyaki, but probably not with octopus. It is takoyaki style. Effectively.
It's takoyaki tacos.
This is a very curious interpretation of this meal, but it is not unpleasant.
Well, unfortunately, the authentic ingredient is not in high supply around here.
We're in the mountains. That stands to reason.
Yes, indeed. I'll set this out and return.
Tree octopus. That's okay.
Yeah. And Dao goes to set some more out and then return back. Like, yeah. My point is that I do not want to minimize the frustrations you're having with some of these recent encounters we've had. The only thing I can offer is just simply a means to set you up for success, because at this point here, we have that court jester who calls himself a mage, a wizard, sorcerer, whatever, and now the monks who have effectively misled us as to their true intention and purpose. And I would like to see both of them get their comeuppance.
As would we all.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, the best answer for how to get myself in there, allow me to operate alone. A group, even a small one, calls attention to itself. A day out we would be spotted in some moment. It would be unlikely that we would be able to approach from from the direction that we've come from in a timely manner in a group and remain unseen and undetected for the entire journey. And if the group is seen, then that sets off the defense.
Of course, of course.
I would need to move ahead of the group, stay a day.
All right. That if there was a way to do so and be able to be aware if something had gone wrong, if there was a way for you to signal something had gone wrong as we approach, that's all I would. That's all
Starting
I would ask.
fires is a simple matter.
That very well. If we approach and there's a fire, we'll make haste. Otherwise, we shall approach as if everything is fine and allow them to put together the possibility that you are not with us because you are already inside. But otherwise, I will do what I can to convince the others of this plan and its veracity.
I have an idea, actually. Maybe Yuri, because she has previously taken some of Zhao's fireworks, has one of those as a signal option.
Oh, yeah, she was basically going to do that.
She already has one of them. That's all. That's what I'm going to point out.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, you don't know. You didn't give it to her, but she already has.
Oh no,
one
he
of them.
doesn't. He doesn't know about it at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but Dalu just sort of nods. If that's what you wish, then I shall do what I can to enable that possibility and avoid us being too close to you in that case.
That would be the best way, yes.
Is there anything else that you wish to discuss then in that case?
While we're here, it would be useful to procure the vestments of this organization. If I am detected, provided that I am not caught, then it doesn't at least give away the game regarding our group.
Of course. That should be easy enough to procure. Sure, that I'm pretty sure you can even ask Ting Ting of that, and I'm pretty sure she would be happy to provide.
Possibly.
You did call her attractive once, and she seemed to be happy with that compliment. So you're already on good terms in that case.
I appreciate your optimism.
In my situation, optimism. There's many skills I have, but the optimism is what I trade in effectively.
You would be a very poor mark.
Which is why I've yet to be a mark for you, it seems, despite being. I'm wondering how many jobs of yours that have incidentally have been around when they've occurred.
There's a reason that why I have stolen from your employers and not from you. You have nothing I desire.
Perhaps one day that will change, but not today.
Okay. Anything else?
Another batch here, real quick here.
Yeah,
Let's
fair
see here. Oh, that's a 2. All right, great.
That one did not come out well.
No, that one.
You were
got
talking too long and
You
missing.
got too melodramatic while you were turning that one over.
Yeah.
Listen. It's just blackened takoyaki. It's a
There we
new
go.
cuisine.
There we go.
It's going to go over. It's going to over great a couple millennia from now in New Orleans or something. You know.
All right. Nick, Olan wanted to talk to
Yeah.
Ting Ting, correct?
Yes.
All right.
That's true.
All right. You can approach her when you like.
All right.
She is sitting. She is sitting and eating and drinking. Olan.
Yes, Master Dragon.
Just Ting Ting, please sit.
Okay. This is
My men don't call me master. They call me boss, but that's about it.
okay. This is just kind of an odd situation for me. People come and go from my father's forge all the time, and
Mm-hmm.
I've never really seen someone after they've come.
Ah.
Normally, the only reason you would come to a smith after having your sword forged would be if it broke or if it were flawed in some way. My father's swords aren't flawed, so that hasn't happened before.
I would, given the quality of this, I would suspect not.
What you do out here? How did you decide you wanted to do that?
Well, I think at first it came from, seeing people who needed help and helping them. And then realizing that seeing common threads between people who needed the help common threads between the people I was helping and similar problems, and realizing they were linked to, they had similar roots to the cause, to the problem. And, I decided that I was in position to help more people if I were to try to take on what seemed to me at least to be the root cause of the problem. I like helping people. And I'm in position to do so,
Do you mind if I took a look at your Yanyue Dao?
Absolutely. Oh, no, please, feel free.
And, obviously, Lan, recognizes it, but she's going to actually, kind of, look over it and study it. And I will actually... I'm going to actually, throw a fortune on this, because why not?
Okay, sure.
At this point.
A 32. All right.
I rolled
all right,
a
then.
6 on the fortune and 2 double positive exploding.
All right, then.
You know everything about this.
Yeah. What are you trying to discern from this blade?
I am, I guess, trying to see through the weapon and get a glimpse into her nature.
Okay.
The way that I was kind of told that I would probably need to in order to find the person who is suited for the sword.
Okay, that's fair. And yeah, I will say definitively, first off, this sword it's different than it is more in tune with her than it was when your father made it for her originally. It is very clear that it feels like when you're holding it, it feels like it is missing something that it didn't seem to be when you saw her carrying it. I'll put it that way. And you do get the impression of sort of what she has at least stated that she is. That she is very much someone who she is very much the impression you get from doing this is that the wielder of this weapon is someone who stands up for those who those who are in danger, and those who are she stands up for the little guy, basically. Is the long and short of it. She is the rock that stands between the ocean and the between the big wave and a small child who's being threatened to be washed away. She will stand in front of it. She's the sort of person who will stand in front of it, and approaching something that she probably couldn't handle on her own to protect those behind her, basically.
She's going to look over the weapon and she's going to say, "My father once told me a legend of the person who first designed a weapon like this. He made it for a great general, large in stature. who asked for it to be made to his specifications. But you have a very different build from him. When his weapon was made, it was to defend a kingdom. This is a weapon to defend people, to defend strangers. You hold it out, and the reach of the weapon allows you to deflect all attacks against those within your reach, which is made longer by the polearm. And this is your weapon, I can tell. It has become part of you.
Huh. I mean, yes, I think it definitely has. It feels almost like an extension of my arm when I use it. It is brilliantly crafted and perfectly designed for someone of my, perfectly crafted for and weighted and such for someone my size and build. It is a marvel, honestly. And yes, I do. It is that is largely what my purpose has become.
My father would say, when I was learning under him, that the reason that we do the work that we do is to provide the right tools to people to enable them to carry out their work and fulfill their destiny. And I always took his word for it. I always believed in that. But to see it actually having happened is different. I thank you for this, Master Ting Ting.
You're welcome, Ulan, and again, Master, I'm not. I appreciate the honorific, but
That's Ting Ting, then.
yes.
I guess. All right, and she'll excuse herself, and that's that.
All right. All right. Anybody else have anything they want to do before we?
Can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Okay.
I mean, you can have some of the takoyaki-ish
Yes.
food that that
There is food.
that Dao
I'll
is making.
have some of the totally not takoyaki.
Okay, let's see how good your batch is. It's 13, so it's okay. It's okay. It's fine.
It's all right.
It's fine.
If you want to make small talk, you can. However, however, that does require a tip at least. Not financial. I mean advice. I mean it requires you have to give.
Say, yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Here's a tip. Don't get to the land war nation.
Here's a tip. The whole mandate of heaven thing, bullshit.
Yeah, something you wanted to throw in there for now?
I'm kind of over here on the one hand, I'd kind of like to talk to. Actually, no, I do have a reason to talk to her. I just remembered. I actually do have a reason to talk to Ting Ting.
Absolutely. If you
Yes. Yeah. I will say that in response to Batu saying like the
Mandate of heaven is bullshit.
Mandate of heaven stuff, like Dallas just sort of chuckles a bit. It's like Mandate of heaven is language of the courts and rulers and not of the commoners. So yes, I would see that. I would see through the same lens you do about that.
I mean, it's just so obvious. It's just
It's
gonna roll. You must be through like strength of arms and how good you are riding a horse.
It's
says the Mongol.
I'm just trying to think like as someone who lives an equally transient lifestyle, I will say that we might see eye to eye in certain areas of it. However, I am much more grounded to the pulse of the locals here and the plights that they go through different areas. So other family might petition for the grace of the heavens, but they don't necessarily view the heavens in the same way that the court might.
Listen, the heavens can help with things like good weather or a harvest or other things, but like you rule through strength of arms, but if you're a tyrant, then your own people would unite their strength together to throw you down. That's how that's supposed to work.
Perhaps in some walks of life, in some circles, but not necessarily all.
You must be strong enough to hold on to the reins of power, and you're wise enough to steer properly. And if you're not, then the horse is going to kick you off.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize Batu was spelled with a capital A.
It's like, yes, but not all are guiding. Not all are necessarily trying to guide horses per se, but
No, the horse is one of those meta things, metaphysical, metamorph.
They're an anamorph. Yes, I see.
Yes,
Kevin and I was thinking the
yeah.
same
You've
joke.
got to become the horse in order to understand it. Yes.
Yes, and the whole thing is just an allegory for the horrors of war. Yes, yeah, the horses of war. Yes, we all know about that.
Yeah. I mean, what else would you use a horse for?
That's the plot of Les Miserables. It's not.
I still find it really funny. Like after Anamorph was done, and people were really upset, and it was like, none of you got it. This is very blatant. I never read
read
Anamorphs.
an Animorph book in my life.
Well,
I
I've read all
just
of them.
missed them. So
I read some of them. They are pretty fucked up.
You said allegory sketch. No, that wasn't an allegory. That was the.
I know it's not subtext. It's just text
It's
because
text,
because the author is not a coward, according to Garth Marenghi. You know, she doesn't use subtext. It's just the text.
Yeah.
Yes.
subtle as a.
Anyways.
Yes. Should we get on to Ting Ting and Yuri?
Yeah.
Yuri.
Yeah. All right.
Although she's not Yuri right
Yeah.
now.
It's what was it? Sorry, I forgot what you said.
Ling Yi.
Ling Yi. Ling Yi. Please have a seat.
Hello there.
Can I help you with something?
I'm actually rather impressed that you noticed my entrance.
You are very good at moving quietly.
I appreciate your kind words. And I also respect your capacity not only for leadership, but personal competence. You are a formidable individual.
Thank you.
That is what makes you pretty.
Okay. Thank you again.
Yeah, I told you the first time is the only time it's going to work.
Aha. I assume there's something other than compliments you brought you here.
I had two matters I wish to bring up.
Very well.
First is related to the arrangement that we have struck.
Mm-hmm.
It would be to the advantage of myself and my group if I were to have the garments and iconography of your own, so that if I am detected but not actually captured or detained or anything else, then at the very least my group does not immediately get flagged as being part of the problem.
I see. Okay. That can be arranged, sure.
Thank you.
I take it you're planning on infiltrating ahead of everyone else and using when we do move, use us as a distraction if needed.
Something to that effect, yes.
I can see the rationale behind not making it look like you're part of my group as opposed to your group. That makes sense. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else I can provide that might be of help in your infiltration? Because clearly, if someone is able to infiltrate and remove the scroll before we get the fight gets particularly serious, that would be a big advantage.
At this moment, I can divine no further necessities that you would be able to provide me.
Very well.
So, that being said, that does bring me to my second matter of inquiry, and this is not something I have any particular expectations of. I mean, nothing with this question, let us be clear.
Okay.
Merely a curiosity. The path that brought us to this circumstance in the first place was the pursuit of a court sorcerer,
Oh, really?
one acting by what Zhao describes as very outside of the bounds of what they should be doing. And wouldn't you know, the first company in which we encounter this sorcerer is in those of a regional pack of bandits.
Interesting.
Not yours,
Right.
to be clear.
Fair.
But whatever this wizard's designs are, clearly they have no particular issue with operating with those outside of the court's law. So, I am curious if you have heard anything of this renegade sorcerer, or perhaps even if you had been contacted in some way.
That I do. I have not met any. I'm not aware of any sorcerers, but that he may not have been operating as a sorcerer. Is there any sort of description or distinguishing features that would be of help?
Have you heard a man with a horrible voice recently?
I mean, I've heard men with how horrible in
Oh,
what
no.
way?
Court eunuch, horrible
Oh.
voice.
No, I've not. I've not heard. Not. No. Not. I've not heard that in a little. Wait. I'm. I have unfortunately crossed paths with a eunuch sorcerer in the recent, not super recent, but in the past.
You're able to throw out a quick description.
Yeah.
of
Hang on.
the
I'm
individual.
looking up something here.
Mhm.
I would like to say that also while Yuri is engaging this conversation, Dao is also probably communicating her plans to the others over at the quote unquote takoyaki stand, just like basically just sort of saying like, all right, here's a plan for how we're going to right what has been wronged to us by the monks.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna guess we're gonna like kick down the gates while Yuri like sneaks around, and looks for the cookie.
You're close. Yuri's gonna be in there before we even kick in the gates.
I'd like a chance to do something before we could take the front door route.
Well, irrespective, whatever route we take, she wishes to make her infiltration in there first, as to avoid the possibility of them suspecting the search for her. She has a plan, and I wish for us to see that she's able to execute on it. Just like there's like all like bed like stools like out of nowhere, just there, just like this makeshift stand. And Zhao, if you see Shang Yang anywhere, just let him know that he's not to engage until after, at the very least, a day has passed, or in case we see a fire that started. You know.
I mean, I guess we could just like walk up and yell like, "Hey, we just want your boss. Send him out." Also, the scroll. Do you have the scroll yet?
Do you
suspect? And your boss's head.
Do you think they would agree to any of those requests?
No, but you know, you can give them the option.
We
I would like to talk to Master Lan again. I think that I might be able to at least determine something of his nature and if he would be willing to assist us if I got a chance to talk to him.
That might be something you might have to do when we get there. But
Yes.
if that is what you want to do, I think you should do it.
Yes, I do think that can happen in parallel to Yuri's own plan, though.
Oh yes, I'm just saying that if she's going to go in ahead, I might need to go in with her.
That you'll have to discuss with her. Even
I mean,
increase.
I'm just gonna
yeah.
say, like, we're dividing our strength quite a bit here. I mean, it's one thing for like to send Yuri and she's sneaking around's what she does, but like, swinging a sword is what you do.
And even if you were able to appeal to,
No, it's not. I make swords. I'm just
and
swinging a
swing
sword
them
right
fairly
now.
well.
I'm just swinging it right now. That's all.
Okay, yeah, but what I'm saying is you're better at swinging a sword than most people here. So, yeah.
I think also engaging in diplomacy and being there by yourself might draw this type of suspicion that Yuri is seeking to avoid drawing.
Well,
Yes.
could it? Could.
I mean,
Zhao-
you could always do that classic talk during the fight thing.
I was gonna say, like, Zhao looks at her and is like, he's a great swordsman, and they are often able to expose the truth in combat. You may have to fight him in order to show him the truth of your actions.
All right, but if we're going to do that, then I want you to let me have the chance to do so.
Of course, that's
Sure.
listen,
Mine's
Yes.
all yours.
you and you pointing to Batu, all
Yeah.
the other more significant monks. You can probably just throw them at each other and knock them on the head with your own negotiation skills.
I mean, that's kind of how this is. I'm expecting it to work.
Mm-hmm. Hey, at least you got to see how they fight before, so you know some of the
Yeah.
tricks they might try to pull. And Zhao, you're going to have to somehow communicate all this Xiang. It's very inconvenient that he's never around here when we're trying to make any plans,
You know how those folk heroes are. They only show up when they're needed.
Indeed. And
Seriously?
and
You guys are okay. Cool.
and
I'm
I
sure
was
the
like,
great hero Shanyang will be there when we need him.
and the great auditor, the great member of the court, Zhao, will not be there when needed during the fight, but that's
Yeah,
fine.
you are kind of a coward when it counts at the most, Master Zhao.
I am an officer of the Imperial Court. I have to do things a certain way.
I'm very grateful for all the ways that you've helped us, but when push comes to shove and things get really dangerous, you're never around. Thank
You guys
goodness
seriously
Young always
are
is there
just
to bail
gonna
us out.
just okay.
I mean, like Dao will give Batu like a look that indicates that like he knows what's going on. He's ribbing Zhao with the banter here.
There is
like,
no such look from Lon.
Yeah, exactly. Like the only one here who does not know is Olan, and that's the point. Olan could see Zhao changing into the outfit and be like, "Oh, you're
doing
dressed
with
up
Oh, cosplay.
Yeah, you're engaging in cosplay. I see.
Why are you disguising
was-
yourself as Xiangyang? Are you distracting other people for him?
Well, like Superman, why you dress
Yes,
up like
you.
Clark Kent for all of a sudden?
All right, I think that we pulled away from the
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just feeling dead air at the moment.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right.
No, it's all good.
I cannot remember the other character I'm thinking of. So,
Well,
anyways, so yeah, she sort of said, yeah, it might be the same eunuch, but I'm not positive. It might be the same eunuch. I'm not sure if he's a sorcerer, obviously, but I'd have to see him to know for certain. There definitely was a little while back. There was a village that was sort of built around had grown up around some old ruins, and they were being harassed by a eunuch sorcerer and some summoned demons of his that I managed to drive off. Sadly, not before he managed to snatch something from the ruins.
This does sound, at the very least, as the same general preference of activity.
It could be the same.
that
It could be the same
that
individual.
the sorcerer I hunt
Well,
cares to pursue.
If you are in pursuit of him, I wish you luck. He is if it's the same individual, he is extremely good at getting away, and is very fond of using summoned demons as a distraction to make it easier for him to get away.
Light spells, throws fireballs until.
Well, that seems to be most
lightning.
sorcerers I've run into, but yes.
I suppose. But yes,
Is
the demon summoning is not that
like
common.
to try to fly away.
The demon summoning is not very common.
Burning centipedes.
Don't remember those, but it's very quite possibly the same individual. Yes.
Well,
This was a couple of years ago, I want to say. Before I got this whole band together.
Right. Well, should our mutual activity play out to both of our expectations, it would be appreciated that should you catch sight of this sorcerer, that you let me know.
Oh, sure.
Thank you. And the next time that Ting Ting like turns away to handle something or whatever, she's just going to just kind of teleport out.
Sure. You actually managed to bamf out without her notice it. Without her, she will turn back. Go. Yeah. She's good.
The old Batman exit.
Yes.
You're teleporting out of the camp entirely, or back over to where we are.
Just outside of the tent, just over there.
Okay.
Gary's not that good.
Yeah. Like if Yuri might glance over to the takoyaki stand and see like everyone around.
You have a cook fire. Finding you is easy.
Yeah. No. But I was just saying, like, if you look over that direction, Daolu will sort of like match eyes and just sort of like give like a thumbs up, just sort of your way.
You're able to face palm because you're able to face palm because she hasn't been detected up until this moment, and it's just like, oh damn it, why does he always see me?
Everyone looks where Daolu is looking at. There's no one there, so it's like now just giving a thumbs up to nobody.
He's just doing it to the camera.
That's right. Oh yeah, he's mugging the camera for sure. It's just like giving a thumbs up, a completely anachronistic, gesture.
Either that or he thinks it's a Mentos commercial.
Like
the Fresh Maker.
God, don't make me listen to. Oh, I have to listen to that song now, Peter. The whole damn thing. The original studio version. That song actually has two verses.
I'm aware.
It has a guitar solo in it. No. A guitar solo. Damn it. It's easy when you're full of life. Okay, that's what it says instead of Mentos. It's full of. Anyways, go ahead.
Yes. All right. So if there's anything else you guys want to do before this is basically where I think we'll be wrapping up roughly. Okay. I think it's a good. Basically, we're coming up to a big action set piece, and that's going to take a while. So.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that seems right.
Yeah, Mecha needs to prepare because the Decker needs their own adventure.
Kind of.
Yeah. Kind of exactly what's going on.
I'm kind of hoping we'll things will end up with the two scenes happening simultaneously.
Oh yeah.
Just to make things a little bit easier, but yeah.
Or they happen it's like a weird at the same time but at different points in time kind of thing there.
Whatever happens time in terms of in setting time, they're going to be happening mechanically at the same time to make my life much easier.
Right.
So I'm not like doing just Fornea and then just the group. That would be boring.
Yes.
Right.
I mean, it wouldn't be boring, but like it'd be everyone. Nobody.
It'd be a lot of work.
It's the original. It's the original Decker problem in old Cyberpunk.
That's why. That's very specifically why I cited.
Yeah, you said that. I was like, yep, that's exactly the issue I'm hoping to avoid.
I have, gosh, I have like a weird idea about how I can talk about this off recording. I have an idea about that.
Sure.
For some reason.
We'll work it out. At any rate, that's going to do it for this episode. What we're going to do now is something I should have done a while ago. Is you all get to awesome up.
Oh no!
Hooray!
So you get to pick one of the basic ones from your template thing.
All right. Let's see here.
Yeah. But we'll do that off recording. So
Right.
So
actually,
for everyone,
look at the materials.
So thank you.
Don't you want us to record reading over all the pages of the book
exactly
in real time?
Super exciting.
That's the material people want.
Yes. Thank you everybody for joining us today. I hope you guys enjoyed. We'll be back in a couple of weeks with the big attack, big try to retrieve, get the scroll back from the monks, and probably kick the Monk Master's ass, and maybe some other ones. We'll see. But until we see you next, guys, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye, buddy.
Bye.
Bye.